There is a machine sitting in your garage right now that you have used 100 times and never once met. Your lawnmower. Somewhere on that machine there is a threaded brass fitting you have never touched, a pinhole you have never noticed, and at least one black lever you have never moved off the spot it shipped on. The engineers who built that mower put 10 features on it on purpose, and on most yards in America, every single one of them is sitting there unused. Now, nobody hid them from you out of spite. The owner's manual explains most of them, but that manual reads like it was written by a lawyer, and it went into a kitchen drawer the day you rolled the mower off the truck. And I will say this plain, neighbor. There is no money in teaching you to use what you already paid for. The repair shop down the road makes a good living off the folks who never learned. So today, I'm going to walk you all the way around that mower and show you all 10, one at a time, with nothing to buy. And stay with me to the end, because number 10 is a hole the factory built right into the deck of most mowers. And the 2 minutes it takes to use it is the real reason some machines cut like new for 15 years while yours cuts worse every August. It is not a dull blade. I will show you exactly what it is. My name is Pete Walker, and for about 20 years I had the worst lawn on the street. I once burned fertilizer stripes into my own front yard and spent a month explaining them to my wife Nancy. Then, an old groundskeeper named Roy looked at my grass one July afternoon and told me I was feeding the wrong end. And I have been collecting the old-timers' quiet tricks in a notebook ever since. More than a few pages in that notebook are about the mower itself. Now, most of my 20 bad years, I figured a better lawn meant buying more. More bags on the cart, more bottles under the sink, more gadgets off the end cap at the garden center. My lawn stayed embarrassing the whole time. But the mower is half the health of your grass, and the machine already parked in your garage came with more built into it than the fellow at the store ever mentioned. He is not a bad fellow. He gets paid to move boxes, not to give tours. So we are going to take the tour ourselves. 10 features, starting with the cheapest fix on the whole machine. And hold on to that thought about the hole in the deck, because when we get to number 10, I am going to show you why a caked deck, and not a dull blade, is what makes a mower cut worse every single August. Number 1. The pinhole in your gas cap. If your mower starts fine, runs 10 or 15 minutes out on the lawn, and then dies for no reason at all, you have probably already met this one. Every gas cap on a mower has a tiny vent in it, and that vent lets air into the tank as the fuel goes out. But when that vent clogs up with dust and dried grass, the tank pulls a vacuum, the fuel stops flowing, and the engine starves. Folks load the whole mower into the truck and pay a shop to find that. The check at home takes 1 minute. Loosen the cap a half turn, out in the open air, and run the mower. If she keeps running, the cap was your whole problem. A new cap costs about $5 at the hardware store. $5. And the mystery stall is gone for good. Now, this tour today is a few pages out of a much bigger notebook, and I finally wrote the whole thing down, day by day, in a book called The Forbidden Lawn Protocol, the lost 30-day method for the thickest, greenest lawn on your block. It is the quiet old-timer routine that wakes up tired, patchy, pale, cool season grass from the roots up. And I wrote it out one day at a time, 106 pages, so a regular homeowner can run the whole month with cheap hardware store and household supplies. You read the lawn and wake up the soil in the first 5 days with a screwdriver, a coffee can, and a rake, and by day 30, you are locking in the deep green. The book is $17, marked down from $47. That is $17 against the 20 years of bags and bottles I bought that never worked. Now go ahead and grab your phone and open up your camera, the same one you use to take pictures. Point it at that square code on your screen and hold it steady for a second. A little link will pop up, give it a tap, and it will take you straight to the book. And if you are watching on your phone right now, the link is waiting for you right down below in the description. Take your time. There is no rush at all. I'll wait right here. All right, back out to the garage, because number 2 is sitting right there on the handlebar. Number 2, the rabbit on your throttle lever. A lot of folks run the engine at half speed to be gentle on it, the way you would baby an old truck. A mower engine is the opposite animal. It has a governor inside, which is a little mechanical speed control, and the engineers set that governor so the blade spins at its designed cutting speed only at full throttle. Run it slower, and the blade does not slice the grass. It tears it. Torn grass tips turn brown and gray within a day or two, and that whitish haze over a fresh-cut lawn is exactly that. So push the lever all the way to the little rabbit and leave it there. Full throttle is not abuse. Full throttle is the setting the engine was built to live at. Number 3, the plastic plug you threw in a drawer. Most mowers ship with a mulching plug in the parts bag, and most folks never install it because bagging feels tidier. Here's what Roy told me on that sidewalk, and it changed how I mow forever. Grass clippings are mostly water and nitrogen. When you chop them fine and let them fall back down, you are feeding the soil, not the blade. You are feeding the right end. Over a season, those clippings give back roughly 1 full bag of fertilizer worth of feeding, and they cost you nothing. Snap the plug into the discharge opening. Mow a little more often so the clippings stay short. If the grass got away from you or it is soaking wet, bag that one time. But every dry, regular mow, that plug is free food going straight down to the roots. Number 4, the speed lever on your self-propel. If your mower drives itself, somewhere on the handle is a lever or a dial that most folks set once on day 1 and never touch again. Thick spring grass needs the blade to spend more time over every blade of grass, and that means walking slower, not faster. The engine keeps the blade at full speed either way. The ground speed is the part you control. So in heavy May growth, pull that lever back and let the machine crawl. In thin August grass, speed it back up. One lever, and your cut quality changes with the season instead of fighting it. Number 5, the height adjusters down at the wheels. On many mowers, each wheel has its own little lever, and on others, one lever moves them all. 2 things here, and both of them matter. First, if your lawn shows a washboard of light and dark stripes after mowing, check that all 4 wheels sit on the same notch, because one wheel a notch off tilts the whole deck and steps the cut. Second, the old-timers rule. Never cut off more than 1/3 of the grass blade in a single mow. 1/3. That is 1/3, not half, because taking half shocks the plant and the roots pay for it. In summer heat, ride that adjuster up a notch or 2. Taller grass shades its own roots and holds water like a little canopy. And keep that deck in mind, because the hole I promised you at the start lives right there on it. And we are getting close. Number 6, that little black lever on the handlebar. You may have seen it in the thumbnail. On most modern mowers, the handlebar has a cam lever or a pair of knobs that let the whole handle change height or fold flat. The factory ships it at one middle setting, and folks just live with it. If your back aches after mowing, stand behind the machine and set that handle so your hands rest about at your hip. Tall fellow, raise it. Shorter, drop it. And when fall comes, that same lever folds the handle flat, so the mower takes up half the space along the garage wall. 30 seconds, and mowing stops being a chiropractor bill. Number 7, the little valve under the gas tank. A lot of mowers have a fuel shutoff valve down where the fuel line leaves the tank, and this one feature is the difference between a mower that starts every spring and a mower that goes to the shop. When gasoline sits in a carburetor all winter, it slowly turns to varnish and gums up passages thinner than a pencil lead. Cleaning that out is the single most common repair ticket at the small engine shop, and it commonly runs $60 to $100. The old-timers never paid it. On the last mow of the year, turn that little valve to off. Then let the engine run right there in the open until it uses up what is in the carburetor and dies on its own. That is it. The carburetor is empty. Nothing sits in there turning to varnish. And in April, she fires right up. Number 8. The dipstick nobody checks. Your car has an oil light on the dashboard. Most walk-behind mowers have nothing. The engine is splash lubricated, which means a little paddle down inside flings oil around, and if the oil runs low, there is no warning at all before the engine scores itself and dies for good. So the feature here is the humble yellow dipstick, and the habit is checking it before every mow. Every mow, not every month. Unscrew it, wipe it, dip it, read it. That is a 5-second check, and it is the cheapest engine insurance ever invented. Number 9. The primer bulb. That soft rubber button on the side of the engine squirts a little raw fuel into the carburetor for a cold start, and the manual says to press it 3 times. 3. Not 8, not a dozen, while you mutter at the machine. Too many pushes floods the engine, and then it will not start at all. And a flooded engine looks exactly like a broken one. 3 slow pushes on a cold engine, 1 or none on a warm one, then pull the cord. And that brings us to the part I promised you at the very start. Number 10. The washout port. Walk around to the top of your mower deck and look near the edge, and on a great many mowers built in the last 20 years, you will find a small threaded fitting, about the size of a garden hose end, because that is exactly what it is for. Here is the why, and it is the mechanism I told you nobody explains. Your mower deck is not just a cover over a blade. It is an air pump. The blade has upturned wings on its ends, and at full speed it creates suction inside that deck that stands every blade of grass straight up a split second before the cutting edge arrives. That lift is what makes a clean, even cut. But every mow leaves a layer of wet clippings caked to the underside. And by August, that cake has choked the airflow, killed the lift, and the grass lies down and gets torn instead of sliced. It also holds moisture against the bare steel, which is why decks rust through from the inside. That is why a mower cuts worse every August with a perfectly good blade. So after you mow, screw the garden hose onto that fitting, turn on the water, start the mower on the driveway, and let the spinning blade wash its own deck for about 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Shut it down, and the deck is clean. The lift is back, and the steel stays dry. If your mower has no port, you can tip it and rinse by hand. But always pull the spark plug wire off first, and always tip it with the air filter side facing up, so oil never runs where it should not. And that is the piece the shelf never tells you, because a mower that cuts like new for 15 years does not sell mowers. The book is 30 days of pieces just like it in order, so you do not have to collect them for 20 years the way I did. The Forbidden Lawn Protocol, $17, down from $47. Everything from waking up the soil to locking in the deep green, plus the quiet year-round routine that keeps it. Now go ahead and grab your phone and open up your camera, the same one you use to take pictures. Point it at that square code on your screen and hold it steady for a second. A little link will pop up, give it a tap, and it will take you straight to the book. And if you are watching on your phone right now, the link is waiting for you right down below in the description. Take your time, there is no rush at all. I'll wait right here. So that is the tour. 10 features that were on your mower the whole time, from a $5 gas cap to a 2-minute washout that keeps the cut like new. Tell me in the comments which of these you had never heard before today. I read every single one. Next time, I am opening the notebook to the page on dull blades, and I will show you the 10-minute sharpening the old-timers did with a bench vise and a flat file, including the nail-in-the-wall trick that tells you the moment a blade is balanced. Keep this one between us and the fence post, neighbor. I'll see you next time.